Welcome
this?
into the PHNX Daily Bet
Where am
Show,
I?
brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Shane Diefenbach, joined by the Buffalo Freak himself, Shawn DePaz. How are you feeling today, baby?
Nervous, excited, all of the above. Happy football's back.
Yeah.
Nervous for what may come with the Buffalo Bills. I don't know. Expectations are high, and I don't exactly like it.
Yeah, I woke up this morning kind of shaking. My arms were shaking. It felt like there was something in my veins, and I realized it was electricity because today we got football and we got something to bet on, and I could not be more excited. I keep reaching and pulling and grasping for that feeling I had last year when I bet on who was it? It was one of my few first touchdown scores that hit, and I'm hoping to start it. It was Gerald Everett, first touchdown score, plus 2,300 on the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
Yeah.
I made some nice coin off of that. I'll tell you what,
I like
through $15, won almost over 300, I believe. So if you want that action, download it today. We'll get to what the promo is in a second. But just, Shawn, there's a lot of questions with both of these teams, not really with the Bills, but the question I think with the Bills is, are they going to live up to the hype?
Yeah.
The biggest question with the Rams is, one, are they going to be healthy? Two, are they going to have a Super Bowl hangover? And three, are they going to suffer any of their losses? Because clearly the salary cap is real.
Yeah. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I want to know if Matthew Stafford's arm is fully intact. I think the loss of OBJ and Von Miller are going to be a little bigger than people are talking about. So yeah, I think there's, like you said, I don't think there's a whole lot of questions about what the Bills' actual makeup is going to be, but I am interested to see if the Rams are going to be able to keep it going, because a lot of teams don't. So yeah.
Yeah, the obviously Bills favorite to win the Super Bowl this year on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. What is it, plus 700 or something?
I don't know off the top of my head. I know I got it earlier in the year, or earlier in the summer. Also, Josh Allen for MVP.
Yeah,
I mean, come on. Dual threat.
By the way, if you guys haven't heard this nickname, this is what he should be called, as Josh Allen Super Soldier. I think that perfectly describes how he runs.
In Buffalo, we just call him Joshua fucking Allen.
Oh, that's good.
So
is his full name Joshua?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Are
Joshua,
all Josh
Matthew Allen? I believe.
Josh Hunt, are you Joshua or just Josh? We need to know. Hard-hitting program.
I feel like that's just like and I'm saying this at the risk of Josh's name being just Josh, but why would you do that to your kid? Because everyone's gonna assume that their name's Joshua. Is my thing. I would never.
Josh is Joshua.
Yeah. Okay.
That's huge.
Plus, it's Joshua's a biblical name, so you're shortening it to Josh for what? I don't know.
Yeah. Got a couple comments about the Cardinals fans probably hoping the Rams lose today.
Yeah, well, I rocked all my Cardinals gear today for that reason, putting bad juju in the air for the Rams.
I think the Rams definitely take a step back this year. I think the whole NFC West, obviously with the Seahawks, but I think it's just going to take a step back in general.
Honestly, I think the entirety of the NFC takes a step back.
Well, yeah, the AFC took a leap forward, obviously. Yeah. And we'll see that in full force tonight. Obviously, the game is not in Buffalo.
No,
it is at SoFi. Do you think it's going to have an effect, or do you think the LA fans just suck?
Yeah, SoFi. I think the Bills. You'll hear the Bills fans. Bills fans. I think Cardinals fans aside, Bills fans are the best fans in the NFL. I think they travel incredibly well. They're also everywhere, especially because it's so cold up there. They like escaping to places that are nice. I don't think that. LA fans are so lame.
Yeah,
they suck. And also the Rams, they're a St. Louis team. You've had them for 5 years or whatever. No, it's been longer than that, I guess. But
2013.
Damn, it's been that long.
So
damn.
Right?
Well, but it's still y'all don't care.
Yeah,
y'all don't really care.
I think Russell Wilson was playing against the Rams. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. All right, well, let's just get into our picks. I know the people are fiending for some money making props, and the best way to do that is on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. If you download it today and use that promo code PHNX, not only can you get the early win and cash out offer, but you can also get $200 in free bets. It's just that easy when you download it using that promo code PHNX. Bet just $5 on any football team to win their game, get $200 in free bets instantly, no matter what happens. So even if an historical collapse does happen to the Bills tonight, praying it doesn't, you still get your $200 in free bets. And as a week one added bonus, as I mentioned, the early win promotion, just that simple. Tonight, you can bet on any team's money, either team's money line, if they're up by 7 in the match at all. Why do I call it a match? What am I doing?
Tennis? Are we playing tennis?
Or is this soccer? No, it's football.
Yeah, it's football.
Yeah.
Football.
In the game, if they're up by 7 at all, you get your money instantly, no matter what happens. So if the Rams go up 7-0 on their first drive, you get X money. whatever you bet on your money line, you get that win instantly, just like they won the game, even if they lose. And then for Sunday, you can do that with any game in the NFL, but they have to get up by 10. So make sure to get that offer tonight on the DraftKings Sports. We got lots of profit boosts, odds boosts, everything you would want right now. It's magical. I just love football season. So download it today. Use that promo code PHNX. That's just $5 on any football team to win. Get $200 in free bets instantly. Just a reminder, age and eligibility restrictions do apply, and see those show notes for more details.
Bills plus 650 now
to win the Super Bowl.
Or 550, excuse me.
Wow.
Josh Allen is 650 for MVP. Bills are plus 550 to win the Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
Buccaneers are plus 700. It's the second.
So I mentioned the early win promotion, and I do think that there will be a touchdown on the first drive of the game. That is a prop you can bet on, by the way, in the draft. But I will say the reason why I love NFL betting is because live betting is so much fun, and then on DraftKings it's super fast, so it's easy to do. But you can kind of see where you can't kind of see where games are going, but you can get an idea where games are going. And oftentimes teams are sloppy to start the year. I would never take an under in week one. I'm not that guy. I hate it, but I am taking a first half under today. I'm taking the first half under at 26.5 minus 120. Just because I feel like even if there's a scripted drive touchdown to start the game, which I think there probably will be, I think if the Rams come down the field, the Bills come down the field, they're going to have some plays they've been working on all off season. I think they might score, but then I take the live first half under, or the live under in the game. The under's set at 52. But we'll see. I'm not taking the under though. I'm not that type of guy. Taking Bills minus 2.5. It's a coin flip for me. This game is going to be close. I do like road dogs usually when it's less than 3 points, but today I'm just going to stick with the Bills, the tried and true, the Mafia, Mr. Super Soldier himself, and the man that I love that has won me so many fantasy football leagues, Stefon Diggs, who I also got this year.
Diggy with
in
it.
One of my leagues. Plus 1,000 to score the first touchdown. He is not the favorite person to score the first touchdown on the Bills. That is actually Gabriel Davis of the receiving corps.
I mean, he scored 5 last time we saw him on the field. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, it makes sense, but I'm taking Diggs to score the first touchdown plus 1,000. I was telling Shawn before the show, one of the worst takes I hear for fantasy football, and we'll have some fantasy advice next week for you guys, but for fantasy football, if a team with a really good receiver gets another good receiver, and I know Gabriel Davis has been there for a while, but people are expecting this to be his breakout year, that they're going to take their target share away. And to some extent, that's true. They're probably going to see less targets. But a guy like Stefon Diggs has thrived in Buffalo with the likes of Cole Beasley tearing apart their zone. Obviously, Gabriel Davis is more of a vertical threat, not a zone possession guy. Yeah. But I still think he's going to thrive, and I think tonight you're going to see that in full effect. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for 100-plus yards, 6 receptions.
Yeah, and I also think I love Gabriel Davis as a receiver. I think people are overreacting to what they saw in that Chiefs game. Like he was not that all season. He was a good receiver. Like I liked him. I drafted him in a fantasy league actually last year, in a late round in like a 12-team league or whatever. But that's what you saw against the Chiefs is not what he was, and probably not what he's going to be this year. Like he was top. He looked like a Hall of Fame receiver in that Chiefs game. He's not going to be that.
Yes, Stafford is playing tonight. If he wasn't, I would be hammering.
Bills minus 2 with I don't even know who their backup is.
Is it still the man that got his shit kicked in against the Seahawks?
I know who you're talking about. I can picture him, but that's gonna bother me.
Such a weird name. All right, whatever. Shawn, let's get into your picks while I look that up.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're gonna take the Bills, aren't you?
Yeah. No one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Bills minus 2.5. I think they're gonna win. Obviously, and if the like you said, if the thing's under 3 points and you think the team's going to win, you might as well take the spread. Did I send you under 52?
Oh no, that's supposed to say over.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Over 52. Like you said, I can't take the under in a week 1 game, especially against 2 offenses that are supposed to be pretty good. I don't really know what we're going to get out of this Rams defense, but I still like it. And then first half Bills. I think the Bills are going to win. I think they're going to score early. They're going to get up early. I could see them winning like, I don't know, 17-13 at half, something crazy like that. Not crazy, but like something like that. I think they'll be up at half. I think they'll lead throughout most of this game. So I'm going with it. And I didn't give it to you, but my first touchdown scorer is Dawson Knox for a plethora of reasons. I mean, he's him. He had his best year yet last year, and I think he's going to only be better. Obviously, just signed a new contract. Obviously, sadly lost his brother, so he's playing for a lot. I think he's going to have an even better year than he did last year. I think he's going to start early. I like it.
Speaking of him, his name was John Wolford, and still is. His name is still John Wolford.
Yes.
And he is still the backup for your Los Angeles. Obviously I gave out my first touchdown score just because I couldn't fit it in my props graphic because I have 3 props other than a first touchdown score. Mine's Diggs, his is Knox. We'll get into your props first, Sean. A lot of totals to look at today. It's hard to determine what offenses are going to look like. Obviously, McVay's offense stays relatively the same. The Bills might be changing it up this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a new offensive coordinator with Brian Daboll leaving for the Giants. So I don't exactly know what we're going to get, but they lost their, I guess, second and fourth receivers from last year in Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders. A new addition in the backfield and James Cook. I am interested to see what this offense is going to look like for sure. I'm gonna just have to wait and see, I guess. Yeah. Dawson Knox anytime touchdown score. If he doesn't score first, I think he is going to score. I think he's obviously Stefon Diggs is Josh Allen's favorite target, but I think Dawson Knox is the most reliable target.
That would be something the Bills could do to really throw people off, is to involve their tight end even more than they have.
Exactly. So I just like Dawson Knox to have a really good year. I think betting on him to score any given week is probably going to be a good bet. Josh Allen over rushing yards. He's
the super soldier.
He's the super. Yeah, I just almost always am going to. I'm never going to bet an under on Josh Allen.
If you've been watching the show for the past year, in during football season, I think probably 13 out of 17 weeks I took over or under on rushing yards, not just for Josh Allen, but just quarterbacks in the league. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love my Aaron Rodgers over 4.5 rushing yards, over 7.5.
I like the Tom Brady over rushing yards, stuff like that. But yeah, I think
Josh Allen over rushing yards.
Yeah, and it's
really?
it's because it's always 2 or 3 or something. Something crazy.
Fall forward.
Sometimes he gets out of the pocket if he needs to. But yeah, Josh Allen, he's just so good. It's part of why this team is so good is because of his versatility and his rushing ability.
Josh Hunt, if he hits this over 34.5, you are contractually obligated to make a Josh Allen super soldier graphic.
Yes, please. And then Isaiah McKenzie over 3.5 receptions. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I'm very high on Isaiah McKenzie this year. He's replacing Cole Beasley, who had the best seasons of his career, arguably, with this Bills team. I think Cole Beasley only had 5 games last year where he had less than 4 receptions. He had 3 games where he was targeted double-digit time, 2 games where he actually had double-digit receptions. I think he's going to have a huge year, and he's going to be a big part of this offense, especially if everyone thinks that Gabriel Davis and not Emmanuel Sanders, Dawson Knox and Stefon Diggs are going to be such a big part of this offense. I think he's going to have an ability to find open space.
So last year and the last couple of years, the reason why I really liked watching this Bills offense is because what you mentioned, Cole Beasley, a big target. But I think what people don't really get about why he was so good, it's like that Hunter Renfrow kind of role.
Yeah.
Like he's obviously very shifty and can find open space easily. But I think the reason why he was so good at being that separator is because you have Stefon Diggs, who is probably the best wide receiver in the NFL at beating man coverage.
Yeah.
And then Cole Beasley, who's probably the best wide receiver at finding open zones.
Yeah.
And so you can't really do either. You have to give one or the other. Do you think Isaiah McKenzie can fit into that role as that slot receiver who finds open space?
Yeah, 100%. I like him. You obviously haven't seen a whole lot of him in the receiving game, but you did at points last year see him as a receiver. I believe you saw him a little bit in the playoffs, and he was effective when he got that opportunity. And now that he's taking a spot from Cole Beasley, I don't think that is going to change. I think you're just changing the person that's playing that role.
Yeah.
Josh Allen has always kind of been a guy who spreads the wealth. I think it's part of why Dawson Knox had such a good year last year was because he wasn't just focused on Cole Beasley and Stefon Diggs. I think I just like Bills receivers. I have so much faith in Josh Allen. Anybody, and he's fast. So sometimes you might catch him going downfield, and then it's.
I think if there's one thing that I can count on tonight that I wish I could bet on is a ridiculous throw that breaks Twitter from Josh Allen. We saw he had 2 or 3 passing attempts in the preseason, and one of them was the best pass in the preseason completely. The one where he was running, throwing across his body, waiting for, I think it was a corner post to get open, and he just waited, went through his reads. That's another really underrated thing that Josh Allen is good at, is going through his reads. Obviously, spreading the wealth is a part of that, but God damn it, I'm so excited to watch football tonight. Let's get into my props. Obviously, the super soldier is going over 34.5 rushing yards. Obviously, Give me it. Inject it into my veins. -120. I love those odds. Gabe Davis, anytime touchdown scorer. We talked about it. I think, his stock is a little bit inflated just because of the insane performance he put on in that AFC championship or the AFC divisional game.
Yes,
divisional game. But I still think he's going to be really good. +145 anytime touchdown. He's going to find the end zone. I think Diggs probably goes without a touchdown if it's not the first, because that's just how things are going to go. But this is my favorite prop of the night, and it's so gross. Can you help me on pronunciation?
Ben Skowronek.
Ben Skowronek. Weird looking guy.
Notre Dame alum.
Just like Totri.
Like yeah.
Totri is a Notre Dame alum. We're going to call him that. Weird looking guy and Notre Dame alum, Anthony Totri.
Yeah.
Ben Skowronek over 20.5 receiving yards, -120 on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You don't have your receivers from last year. I mean, obviously you have Van Jefferson as your wide receiver 3, but Skowronek can flop in there as a wide receiver 3 at some point too. I think there's going to be a lot of yards to be had in this game. As I said, I think the first half under is pretty much locked, but I do like the over probably. That's where I'm leaning in this game. I think the over on yards is a real thing to look for in this game. Passing yards, receiving yards, rushing yards, whatever. Actually, I don't know about rushing yards.
I was going to say.
I like Darrell Henderson's rushing yards over because it's 28. I hate Cam Akers over 50.
Yeah, I don't like the running backs in this game at all.
Except for maybe James Cook, but that's only when he's receiving the ball.
Yeah, these are two pass-first offenses.
These are two pass-first offenses and both really good defensive lines.
Yeah, and running backs that are just like Cam Akers was good, I guess, but
he's also still the Achilles man.
Yeah, like they're not. None of those running backs are like top half of the league. No, I would say so. No. Like
Johnny will tell you different.
Yeah. I mean, he drafted different.
Cam Akers elitist.
Whatever.
Cam Akers and David Montgomery are the same player. Change their mind. They are. I swear they are the same person.
That's fair. I mean, yeah. I mean, they both have the ability to like have those games where it's like, that's why I drafted him, or that's why I bet on him. But like, I just am never gonna feel confident putting money or putting a fantasy pick on him.
All right, chat, get involved in this last topic. This is the last thing we'll talk about. Shawn, your X factor for the Buffalo Bills tonight. Chat, please weigh in as well.
Tremaine Edmonds.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really know why. Tremaine Edmonds, I think, is probably the most underrated linebacker in football.
Yeah.
I think he's the most underrated Buffalo Bill. I think if he can control that part of the field, keep a guy like Skowronek from getting catches in the middle of the field, keep Cam Akers from producing and stopping the run, I feel like he's going to be super effective. Offensively, I think it's Isaiah McKenzie. Like we said, I think he has the ability to be a guy that a lot of people that don't pay attention to the Bills are like, who the fuck is this guy? And why is he getting so many catches? Why do I keep hearing his name? But I mean, with the way this Bills team works, literally anybody
can make a difference.
Another guy that we didn't even mention is Shakir Khalil.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see how he contributes to this offense, if at all. To be honest, I don't really know where he fits in, but that's another guy. And also one more name, because I mentioned it before the show. Kaiir Elam, new cornerback from Florida. I'm interested to see what he does.
Yeah, this is, when healthy, one of the best secondaries in the NFL. Definitely, I think that it's hard to say this is the best safety duo.
I think it is.
Just because there are really good safety duos in the NFL. We've talked about a lot during this time. But since we got to get out of here soon, I'll give mine. I'm going to go half a player.
Oh,
Josh Allen's lower body.
Yeah.
If he can get outside of the pocket, the game is over. If he controls the ground game, the game is over.
Yeah.
Taking his lower body over rushing yards.
I like it.
And then for the Rams, Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson, if he can return to form from 2019, 2020 on the Chicago Bears, now he has a really solid quarterback. I think he can be scary. This is a possession receiver that can win over top. And when you have vertical threats on the field like Van Jefferson and somebody to cover the in routes and middle of the field like Cooper Kupp, he can go wherever he wants. If he's open middle of the field, sideline to sideline, it doesn't matter. He can make a huge difference. So he's my difference maker for the Rams tonight. Do you have one?
For the Rams, Matt Stafford's elbow.
Yeah,
it's just
you're going with a body part.
Yeah. It's just we have to see how healthy he is.
Yeah.
I also think Van Jefferson can be that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if Cooper Kupp is going to be the focus of his defense, so I got to see what those other guys can do.
Yeah, Josh Allen, not only top 5 in the league rushing the ball as a quarterback, but also top 5 in the league on looking well with football pants on. We will see you guys tomorrow as we have a full show. We'll be probably live for 4 hours tomorrow talking about the NFL, college football lines, everything. So make sure to join us right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane D. If you can follow Shawn on Twitter at Shawn_to-pause. Follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets. As I said, we're back tomorrow at noon right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel every Monday through Friday live at noon. But until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Peace, love, and Josh Allen's lower half. See you guys.
I can't show my legs.